Cold beer here. Welcome back to. We got another tasting segment tonight. Fortunately for us, we have a special guest. I'm Matthew Ware, joined by Tilly, and here with head brewer at Bay Cannon Beer Company, Joe Simmons. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Not too much. I'm ready to drink some beer.
Yeah.
Always.
What do we got tonight? Tilly, let us know.
We are drinking the Elias Hazy Double IPA. My light is throwing off the look of it. So, but yeah, it's available in Gainesville now. So any of you people listening in Gainesville, and obviously down there in Tampa, you can pick it up fairly easily. I got it from Ward's, and if you're from Gainesville, you know where Ward's is. So there's no struggle there.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us, Joe.
Thank you for having me.
We this is great. We've tried some legendary beers. What have we done, Tilly? We did Guinness. We did
Weihenstephaner. We did the Parish Ghost in the Machine.
Yep. And but we've never had anybody join us who's made the beer. So this is great.
Yeah, I'll see how this goes. I'll try to keep it on the tracks.
I think most people are familiar with double IPAs, but why don't you go ahead and tell people what's a little bit different about this one, Joe?
Oh man, I made it.
There's that.
This is it's a double IPA, so lots of malt, lots of hops, and hazy, because you got to put hazy in front of everything.
Nowadays.
so hazy goes before anything, and the words with lactose go after everything.
That's
right. So this one only has with haze. This one has hazy before it.
With hazy, now you're just throwing things off.
Yeah, there you go. With hazy.
Then maybe you guys should rethink this naming convention and be like Double India Pale Ale with hazy.
Hazy.
That's
Dude.
free.
Oh my God.
Hazy.
That's free marketing. You guys can have that one. Feel free to use that, and I'll just claim credit in bars whenever I see it show up again. And
that's so great.
With
that would
hazy.
be. I would actually. I would like that and laugh if I saw somebody do that. I mean, yeah.
Just give it a little time.
We're gonna work on it. We've got the beginnings of an idea here. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, this is just my riff on a hazy IPA, double IPA. Mosaic, Citra, and Eldorado hops make it pretty fun. I love Mosaic. I use Mosaic in a lot of beers that we do.
What do you love about it?
Man, it's like I won't say the word unique because everybody uses Mosaic as well, but it's just got this, it's tropical, but it's also got this like really subtle blueberry note, and it's like just kind of jammy, tropical and jammy, like with a blueberry kind of thing. I just find it really intriguing, and I find it really pleasant with a lot of styles. When you do pale ales, IPAs, anything hoppy, it does really well. But I find it does really good with a lot of different stuff. We did sour, the dry hop sour with Mosaic, and it works so well across so many different things.
I get one thing that some people get is, I've been told too, is I get a little savory, just a touch of like garlic almost. And
I see that. Yeah,
it's just like it, and it also kind of goes into the dry. Like if the beer is dried out really well, it just kind of helps that sort of nice clean finish.
Yeah,
but yeah, man. I mean, Joe made this beer, or not this beer, but used an all Mosaic IPA as a pilot that ended up being Xander. But I remember when he did that, it was just all Mosaic, and it was clean and just had this. Yeah, it was all over the place. I used to feel that way about Amarillo, in terms of its like it did a bunch on the fruit side.
Yeah.
I just Mosaic is it's really good.
Mosaic for me, Mosaic has stolen the spotlight from Amarillo a little bit. I mean, I still love Amarillo, but pretty much from talking to like brewers in the industry, and Amarillo is not the same hop that it once was. I mean, you can smell it, you can taste it. It's just not the same that it used to be. Hopefully Mosaic doesn't go that route, but I mean, it's an agricultural crop, right? So
anytime you get into like overproduction of something, you can kind of lose that special bit of it.
Absolutely.
And I hadn't not really thought about it, but like I used to see Amarillo just like across like so many beers at a certain point, and then definitely haven't noticed it on at least the labels and cans as much as I used to. And I always try to pick up the can and like go look, because most of the time breweries are real good about listing the hops in there, and you can definitely kind of like trace trends with just like the hop usage.
Oh, for sure.
Like you can see where the beer market's at, and if you know anything about the flavor profiles, you can kind of get an idea of what the beer's kind of tasting like, which
absolutely
is the beer snob. That part that I enjoy is like looking at that stuff and being like, I'll probably like this.
Yeah, for sure.
And it works. The Mosaic works really well with Citra. Citra is kind of a nice. It seems like it's like a nice leaping or launch pad for other hops. Yeah. But man, the El Dorado to me in this one, I love it.
El Dorado is awesome. I'm gonna jump back. Citra, for me personally, and the way my palate works, and I think me and you, Matthew, might share this, but like Citra is not a hop you'll see me personally do like 100% Citra IPA. It's
I'm in that boat.
It's not 100%er. Okay. It's not 100%er for me. It doesn't play well by itself as far as with my palate. So Citra is a hop I do really like. I think it brings a lot of the citrusy tropical nuances when it paired with other hops to like either amplify or to augment a little bit. So that's
complementary flavor.
Absolutely. And that's the way I use it. Like you'll see beers that come out of Bay Cannon that have Citra in them, but Citra is never like, I'm never going to put Citra like front
on its own pedestal.
Yeah. It's not going to be like the most forward hop that you get out of it.
I don't want to say single note because that's, not fair, but it just kind of feels to me like it's just really narrow in its scope of how it presents itself when it's by itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say single note when it comes to any sort of hop flavor, because obviously there's multiple flavors that anyone can taste, but definitely a very narrow focus. And I agree with what you said, Matt. It's a good launching point for a beer. It's one of those things that you smell and you taste right at the beginning, and then you get some more of the complexity of the other hops and the other flavors like later on as you're drinking through.
Yeah.
But it's a very enjoyable scent to me, and I can always smell the Citra hop, and I'm like, this is, I like it as far as that. But yeah, as far as like a standalone kind of like hop, I don't think it has the depth of flavor and the kind of potency to be able to do that on its own.
Yeah, I agree. It's like you guys use the word narrow. I typically describe it as it's rough around the edges. It's just to me, it's just not well refined. Like it needs something else in there to like smooth it out and to carry it across the finish line.
Yeah.
But I'll always dabble in it because I think it does bring something to a beer. And then El Dorado, this is to me, do you guys remember those little red strawberry hard candies?
Oh yeah. with the little gel in the middle?
Yeah.
Dude, well, I went to church. I got plenty of those.
Okay. That is El Dorado to me.
Yeah, it's candy. It's so much candy.
It's candy. It's like this hard shell candy and with like this soft strawberry note. And the first time I tasted a beer that had El Dorado in it, like a good amount of El Dorado, and I was like, man, it reminded me of those strawberry candies. And it has always done that. I will always, I think El Dorado, if I sip it, I'm like, oh, it's that flavor. And that I think is a super fun flavor to play with. And that this combo of hops in this beer, I'm just like really thrilled with the way that it came out. And because you get this tropical and this like juicy type of thing, but then you also get this like this touch of candy, but like a pleasant, it's not like sweet or anything, but just like this touch of like just berry candy. And I think it's so fun.
And you didn't put
a little bit more of that potent flavor.
Yeah, there's no fruit in it. No actual fruit.
Or Kool-Aid or Gatorade.
None of that stuff.
That's the joke, because I said I had the Jay Wakefield Haterade at a Great American Beer Fest a couple years ago. And I didn't say I loved it, but what I thought of when I first drank it and when I smelled it was like when you first are making just like fruit punch Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And you've like got your like warm water and you're like just pouring in the powder and it hits. And then like there's that puff of like powder that comes off. Like that's what that beer tastes, that smell was like. I was like, we just made Kool-Aid. Like like it hit the water and that puff of like powder came up and you're like, and that was a very reminiscent like feeling for me. Now, sorry to any Jay Wakefield lovers out there, it's not a great beer. It's entirely too much fake flavoring going into it, but that's just what I thought of when I first tasted it.
That is such a wonderful description. like you know, and I'm not making fun. Like, I mean, it's super accurate, and it paints a picture of like instantly. I was like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know, everyone knows that scent, and everyone knows like that, like super freshly made fruit punch Kool-Aid flavor too.
I think
so
about
that's
it
what that beer
Gatorade,
tastes like.
Dude, do you guys remember, like, did you ever make the powdered Gatorade?
Oh yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same type of thing. Anytime you're dumping powder, I mean, if you I remember like making that at sports and just dumping it in, but in high school or like helping my wife out with the cross country team, making Gatorade, you know, that it's a very reminiscent. Anyway, that's just a side note that's neither here nor there with this tasting segment. I was just wanted to clarify that I wasn't about the Jay Wakefield Haterade as like a beer, just brought something out in me. Out of me.
See,
I'm trying to find this blueberry right now that you were saying too, because I don't know that
I will say that it is what's the word I'm looking for? It is a not elusive, but it's man, what is the word? It's fast.
Subtle.
It's subtle, but it's kind of fast. Like you'll pick up on it. You're like, oh, there's a little blueberry, and then it's kind of gone. It's gone. And then the more you drink it, like it's kind of early on in the pint, because everything else starts to gang up on you. Like that El Dorado and the tropical notes start to come out like a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, we've made you've done three or four different double IPAs, I think.
Yeah.
This one is the best.
This is the best hop combo so far.
Yeah. It is a good combo.
I don't remember what Willard was.
Well, Willard had Julius in it.
Oh, that's right. I was messing with that.
Yeah. We can wrap up the taste segment. Ben, do you you don't have any, you don't have to rank it, but let's hear your feelings on Elias.
All right, well, that's a lot of pressure on me, but I will say, you know, having drank a lot of hazy IPAs, especially over the last couple of years, because that was, and still to an extent is, like an in beer.
Sure.
Obviously, there's a lot of sours coming out now as well that are kind of like shifted over like the trend into a lot of these kind of esoteric sours, but the hop profile is a really good complement with each other. I haven't had a ton of beers. I mean, I've had a lot of beers relative to how many beers I've drank, I haven't had a ton with El Dorado hops in them, but I'm a big fan of the combination.
Sweet. Yeah, I've noticed.
Like I always feel like you're saying with like Citra hops, like coming in with like, it gives you it's kind of like it's a companion. It's like it's someone you know, and you're walking in with them, and then they go, here's my friends, and then that's when you get into the complexity of the other hop flavors.
Totally.
Yeah. But it's really good, and it's available at Ward's for you Gainesville folk.
Yeah, Ward's. I think ABC's in and around the state. We're sort of.
Yeah, I don't think ABC here is gonna, or Gainesville. I mean,
yeah,
Gainesville.
not in Gainesville. Probably
yeah.
there's some random ones around the state, and I think that they're getting this. We're still in that transition, but all around Tampa for sure, and St. Pete.
And if you live in anywhere in the kind of middle of Gainesville to the northeast and east side of Gainesville, you know where Ward's is.
Yeah,
go pick up a 4-pack of them.
I gotta believe there's a few places up there that have it on tap too. I mean, the boxcar usually gets everything that.
Yeah, I was
I'll
just at the
have
boxcar.
to check around.
I know that the boxcar and the top and P&G have been steadily having at least one handle, something pouring from us from Bay Cannon. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I was actually mentioning that P&G, Public in General, for folks outside of the area. It's a great little place that I love, and I've only had like great food and stuff there, but it's not like the first place that pops into my mind when I think of like beer and just like recommending food to people. And obviously I'm gonna have to move it up my list a little bit more.
It's so good. It's so good.
Great little location. It's a great place.
I'm within walking distance, and it's awesome.
I mean, there's a library like right next to it too. So
yeah, totally.
That's great. Well, good. We'll wrap it up here, guys. We appreciate it. You know what? We are always taking suggestions on if y'all want us to try something. Feel free to let us know. And if you see some Elias out there in the wild, make sure you scoop it up and tag at Megadeth Starman on Instagram and tell him he crushed it. I will check you guys next time. Cheers.